many people feel like a stress chicken. Goedemorgen. So, never a dull moment. If people struggle in English, often it's because they're not using it at a high level on a regular basis, and they're not getting feedback. And then you have to go from what I call from zero to hero, right? It's like you take the bus every single day, and it's fine because it's easy and it gets you to where you have to go. But one day the bus doesn't come. And then you think, okay, where are my car keys? Oh, I have to drive. Oh, and I want to win this race. I want to do a really good job. But by the time you get warmed up, then the situation is almost finished. So staying active in English is really, really important. And that's something to think about is if you find that you have a situation in English that you have to prepare for, make sure that you give yourself time to do that. And I also say to all of my clients, if you're going from a Dutch meeting to an English meeting, in your calendar, give yourself a 5-minute window, literally to clear your ears, and then you put on the BBC, an English podcast, get that English into your ears before it comes out of your mouth. That 5-minute window can make such a difference in your schedule. And those of you who work for people who also have to go from Dutch to English, when you make their schedule at least five, hopefully more, 5 minutes to switch from one language to the next can make such a difference. If you listen to BBC, listen to CNN, put on an English podcast, get some English in your ears before you go to an English situation will really help you warm up a little bit and feel more prepared. Okay, so let's go back to our story here. So some of you might feel nervous. We saw that a little bit in the chat. One thing I want you to remember is for every communication point, there's actually 6 different conversations happening. So this is me while I'm coaching Ed in New York. This is me talking to me. Does he find value in what I'm saying? Does he understand my approach? There's me talking to Ed, giving him advice, giving him feedback. There's Ed talking to himself. Do I sound like an idiot? Does she understand my problem? There's Ed talking to me, and there's body language. So there's so much more going on than just your words. There's an internal and an external. And so many people at work compare themselves to other people when they hear them speaking English. They think, oh, if I could only be as good as them, or I'll never learn it, or English wasn't my thing, or I didn't do well at school. And what people don't realize is what you see is someone's external, but they also have an internal as well. So they are also comparing themselves to other people and not feeling great all the time about what they're doing. And very often in my coaching, I ask someone, who is an example of a really great English person in the Netherlands who speaks really good English. And many times they mention someone from TV. And often that person from TV is my client, and I know how insecure they feel on the inside. So I want you to remember that your internal should never be compared to someone's external. So what you hear it doesn't reflect how they feel. So what you hear is their external, and never use your internal feelings. So if you're feeling really insecure about your English, don't compare it to someone's external, compare it to someone's internal, because I'm sure other people feel just as nervous as you do. Because when you're communicating, you have you and you have the judge you, especially with English. When you're in a professional situation, so often you're doubting yourself, you're hesitating. Am I using the right word? Did I come across professionally? Is it working or worked? Is it have worked or was working? Is it content or content? People get confused with every single step. And the way to think about that is to realize when you are talking to you, you are no longer talking to someone else. So if you want to judge and evaluate and criticize yourself, you can absolutely do that when the conversation is finished. Because if you are talking to you, you are no longer talking to someone else. So we are going to send the judge off for an early retirement, and off she goes, the judge. You can judge yourself later, but not when you're in communication. Because breaking news is your attention and your time and your energy are limited on this planet. So how do you want to spend them? Do you want to spend them stuck in doubt, hesitating, getting nervous? Or do you want to say, I'm just going to jump into communication? I'm going to stay connected to other people, which is one of the greatest joys on the planet. Because when it comes to communication, there is a real difference between how the English communicate and what the Dutch understand. Now, I'm going to give you a humorous, exaggerated example, but just to put it in perspective, this is one of the examples. So the English person would say, very interesting. And what they mean is, this is ridiculous. No way. And the Dutch person said, oh, hij is onder de indruk. Hij vindt het interessant. Leuk, leuk. So this is just to show you how from that culture, it comes across very differently than what you think. Here's another one. If someone would say, would you mind if I made a suggestion? What do you think they mean? Put that in the chat for a moment. If someone says, would you mind if I made a suggestion? What do you think they're trying to say in a very nice way? Maybe. You're doing it wrong. You did it wrong. I vind het niet. Yeah, and is beleefd. Heel goed. I do not agree. You got it wrong. It is iets niet goed. This is not the way we do this. A correction. Heel goed. I don't agree. Okay. So what they're saying is this is not right. So you're feeling for that. And the Dutch went, oh, leuk, ze denken mee. Ze willen meedenken. Yeah, leuk. Okay. Here's another one. You turn in a proposal. I have just a few comments on your proposal. What do you think they mean? Put that in the chat. What do you think they mean? Dit kan beter. It sucks. Start over again. Paar suggesties. They don't like the proposal at all. They don't agree at all. They mean I would put it differently. Okay. So here, please write this whole thing again. And the Dutch could think, ach, leuk. Alleen de puntjes op de i. We zijn bijna klaar. Okay, let's try another one. You're looking quite busy today. What are they saying? You're looking quite busy today. What do you think they're trying to say? You are stressed. You are stressed, calm down. You're stressed out. You are stressed. So stressed is a big thing. You're not focusing. You look as if you have time on your hands. I'm waiting too long for your answer. Oh, I love this. Okay. What they're really saying is, I am shocked to see you working. And the Dutch think, oh, hij is blij met mijn productie. Misschien krijg ik een promotie. Now for this one, this is something we're going to talk more about in March when we have a full hour, when I get you for a whole hour to really go in depth into the grammar of this kind of situation. But when someone says you are looking quite busy, what they're really saying is this is an unusual situation because they've used the ing form. So when someone says we are creating innovative solutions, or we are serving fresh food, or we are trying to meet our customers' needs, when you use the ing, we use that because it's an exception to the rule. It is an uitzonderlijke situatie. So when someone says, oh, you're looking busy, or oh, you're working hard today, this is like, ik heb dit nog nooit eerder gezien, en morgen is it over. So in March, for our hour together, we're going to get more in depth into the grammar of business language, along with vocabulary and lots of other things, to show you how often it's the wrong thing. Okay, we have one more. I'm terribly sorry, but could we possibly change the location of our meeting. What do you think they're trying to say? I'm terribly sorry, but could we possibly change the location? What do you think that they mean? I'm not going to come if the location stays the same. I'm not happy with the location. Choose another location. I don't want to be there. It's so great. He is not sorry, they just can't make it, need to change. I don't like this venue. I don't like the place you suggested. Super. So if we look here, there is no way I'm coming to Amsterdam in the winter, for example. Again, a little exaggerated, but just to give you an idea. And the Dutch might think, oh, so jammer dat hij niet kan reizen. Het is zo zielig voor hem. Jammer. Okay. Okay. So what all of these had in common, and again, this is a very exaggerated example, but they all have to do with the levels of formality, the culture, and the communication style. So for example, if we go back here, when you look at what the English person said, he used what we call softening language. Not just I'm sorry, but I'm terribly sorry. And could we, not can, but could we? And not could we change, but could we possibly change? So he's given you 3 indicators to tell you that this is bad news. And that's something we're going to work on as well in March, is framing bad news like a native speaker would. This is something that Dutch people don't get taught at school. This is why your school English will not always get you through business. And that's something to think about, is those softening aspects of business English. Because often you don't know what the rules are until you break them. So often you get a reaction from someone which is not what you expect, and you know you did something wrong, but you don't know what it is. You know you've made a mistake, but you don't know what it is. You only know the rules when you've done something wrong. So one thing that is connected to that, one of the big pitfalls that many people experience, is in English, we don't have something that you do have in Dutch, Italian, French, German, Spanish, but not in English. What do you think there is in all those languages, but not in English? Put in the chat. Do you think, yeah, someone has already put in the chat already. Yeah, and that is not a nice guy with the curls. It is the formal versus informal way of saying you. You have that in all those other languages, but in English we do not. So how do we express formality? We use other words. We use other phrases. And that's something we're going to get into in March, is also that formal English, how to get from a je to an u situation when you only have you. That's when we need extra vocabulary. That's when we need elevated professional grammar, etc. So those are some things I want you to think about. And also building what I call a word wardrobe. So everyone, when we get dressed, we choose what we're going to wear. Hopefully we have more than one choice, but with your language, often you choose one thing because it's all you have. And that's like wearing jeans every single day. It's comfortable, it's easy, you like it, but I want you to open your word wardrobe and find the right outfit that makes you feel confident for the right situation. If you open your wardrobe and you only have jeans, but you have to go to a black tie gala fundraiser or a wedding, you're not going to feel comfortable. And as a coach, it's my job to help you build that word wardrobe. So that's something we're going to work on in March. For example, formal and informal vocabulary, softening language, what I just explained about a moment ago, using modal verbs, the real difference between can, could, would, should, might, need, have to. They all have a different color. They all have a different story. and framing news like a native speaker would. So, as the Terminator said, I'll be back. I will be coming back in March in the evening for an hour of power. And I hope to see you all there because we're going to be working on lots of things. But I want to give you a challenge for the next few weeks until we get back together again. I would like you to think and to write down if something goes wrong in English. What happened? Because in our webinar for 1 hour, there's going to be a lot of times to ask questions. There's going to be 4 question moments during that webinar. And I want you to really feel that you're being coached and helped as well. So when something goes wrong, you had a phone call or you couldn't find the right word or you got a reaction that you didn't expect or something happened that you didn't understand, write it down, bring it with you to that webinar and there will be a Q&A. And speaking of Q&A, we're going to do a Q&A right now. If you need to reach me, you can scan this with your phone. This will take you to my website, or you can also reach out to Anna Marie, who was kind enough to arrange this speaking engagement for me. But I'd like to see if there are any questions. Please let me know in the chat. I'm going to stop my share. Okay, here I am again. Can you see me now? Okay, so the chat is open. Does anyone have any questions for me today about what you heard today or about what's coming up? En kan ook in het Nederlands hoor, geen probleem. Het is stil aan de overkant. Helemaal niks.
Nou, dan zeg ik wel iets. Hi Buffy.
Hi Lande.
Hi. Nou ja, weet je, ik ben daar gewoon heel eerlijk in. Ik werk voor een Nederlands bedrijf en we spreken dus af en toe dus Engels. Dus je bent constant elke keer opnieuw aan het denken van, oh ja, hoe moet je het ook alweer doen? En hoe zijn dan, zeg maar, de grammaticale voegingen en dat soort dingen. Dus ik ben wel heel erg benieuwd dadelijk in maart als je dus daar wat dieper op ingaat. Zeker ook met de formaliteiten. Want ja, het is vaak meer vakantie-Engels dan toch wel het business-Engels in alle eerlijkheid.
Groot verschil. Ja,
dus dankjewel. Ik vond het leuk.
Dankjewel Jolande. En één ding, voor mensen die werken vaak met de telefoon of dingen online. Wat je kunt doen is op mijn website is, en jullie krijgen wel de PDF van mijn slides. Dus dit wordt ook opgenomen. Maar op mijn website heb ik een free download. Dat is een telefoon cheat sheet. Dat kun je downloaden. En wat veel mensen doen is bij hun telefoon hebben ze belangrijke phrases. And I practice what I preach. You can put this near your phone. If you're working online, dit kun je bij jouw scherm hebben. Working online and on the phone can also be a superpower. And the great thing is nobody can see what's behind your camera. So a tip is if you're working a lot online or with a phone, put phrases that you find that you always need to use. Like, thank you for your call. We appreciate your patience. We look forward to meeting you. Those kinds of things, whatever you find helpful, put them on little Post-its, put them somewhere where nobody will see them but you. And that way you have that little bit of extra support if you need it. It's super, super helpful. And when you have them on Post-its, you can always arrange them in the order that works for you. You can add new ones, you can move the order. So it's a great way, like building blocks that you can use that makes you seem very spontaneous when you need to use those phrases.
Okay, thanks.
Of course. Other question, what energy you have. Thank you, Astrid. I'm looking forward to March too. So am I. Thank you. Yeah, I do a lot of things intuitively. Yeah, thank you so much, Ingrid. Yeah, Deepa is a good translation site. I'm also going to add another site that I like. Oh, Babla is a great site to use not only for translation, but for vocabulary building. What Babla does is it gives you the translation, but if you scroll down, you will see how this is used in real English, in reports, in presentations, in studies, and you'll see the idioms, phrases, expressions connected to this word. I think it's really a helpful resource. Oh, I'm so glad. Energy is so important. People always say, oh, you've been so enthousiast Amerikaan. En ik zeg, hoezo? Wat bedoel je nou? Ik snap er niks van. Maar I love what I do. You can see here, do what you love. It's a gift and a joy to be connected to all of you. And I will see you all in March. Any questions in the meantime, you can reach out to Jacqueline or Anna Marie or me via my website. But thank you so much for your time today, and I wish you a wonderful day. And when it comes to your English, use it or lose it. Thank you, everybody.
Bedankt.